Good afternoon, everybody. Today's webinar is going to be on Nevada's school wellness policy best practices. And basically, I'm just sharing what is going on in the other districts in Nevada and at the schools as far as implementing the school wellness policies. My name is Brittany Malley, and I'm a registered dietitian and program officer at the Nevada Department of Agriculture. Okay, so today's agenda, we're going to talk about Clark County School District, Nye County School District, Matter Academy in Las Vegas, China Springs Youth Camp, which is an RCCI, and then at the end I'm going to do a quick update on the school wellness online reporting tool and any updates we have to that and how many entries we've gotten so far. So to start with, I really wanted to talk about Clark County School District because it is the largest school district in Nevada and it's one of the largest in the United States anyways. So I feel like if they're doing successful things at on such a large scale that it should be able to be done at a smaller scale with the smaller school districts in Nevada. So what they have done is they do have a district school wellness coordinator at the district level that oversees everything that's going on. School wellness is just one of her tasks that she has. She does do other things for the district as well. So to, unburden her load a little bit, what she's done is established a wellness coordinator at each school. So that means there's at least 357 wellness coordinators for Clark County School District. And they're responsible for implementing the school wellness policy at their school sites, okay, and reporting on their school on the online tool. So what they've done to help them is they made a binder of resources for each wellness coordinator, and what's in that binder is a copy of the Clark County School District Wellness Policy, a copy of the district goals that they have come up with for next year, and then sample lesson plans to incorporate more nutrition education and physical activity at the school level. And what they did is they actually had dietetic interns help come up with the resources for the binder, and then they made the binders, all the copies, and put them all together and sent them off to each wellness coordinator. So what I understand now is that each wellness coordinator has one of those binders at their school to reference. And then another thing that's happening in Clark County is, this is tomorrow night, Action for Healthy Kids is putting on a training on the school wellness policy specific to Clark County and on how to implement it better at the school level. It's a 4-hour training. It's free. It's actually being paid and sponsored by the Nevada Department of Public and Behavioral Health. And they're going to offer that same training in Washoe County on May 26th. And it's not just for Washoe County. They sent out another email for registration for the surrounding counties. And that includes all the way to Elko. We put an email out to Carson, Douglas, Lyon, Pershing, Story, and Churchill, I believe. So if you're able to come, it's going to be May 26th from 4 to 8 p.m. And it is voluntary, but I think it should be a very good training on how to start implementing the wellness policies at the school level. Okay, and then in addition, in Clark County, there have been some elementary schools and other schools that have started entering information into the online reporting tool. So I've been going through and just reading what people have been doing, and a few so far have stood out to me. Diskin Elementary School, they put in that they've been doing recess before lunch, which is actually one of the best practices we have in our best practices manual, and we also recommend it in the state wellness policy, although it's not required, We just put it in there as a recommendation. So they're actually doing recess before lunch. And then Rundle Elementary School, they have a lot going on with physical activity. Their PE classes include a curriculum that teaches students about making healthy choices. And then students receive a charm for being able to identify and make healthy food choices. They have a school mileage club that provides opportunities for students to run laps daily for charms. And then their classes received one additional 15-minute recess for perfect attendance as earned. And then their classes also received an additional 15 minutes of recess monthly for graduating reading levels. So what I like about that is they're using physical activity as an incentive and a reward for doing things instead of using it as taking it away as punishment. And then Long Elementary School, last summer and fall, they constructed a school garden, and they have each class visiting the personal garden twice per month for a total of 40 minutes. And the garden classes are instructed by a lady named Farmer Jen, who teaches student lessons about gardening and nutrition. So with this, they're incorporating nutrition education and I'm sure science into these lessons at their school garden that they have built. And just really quick, I forgot to mention this at the beginning of the presentation, but this webinar is being recorded, and after it's over, we upload it onto YouTube. So it can be viewed at a later time for people that are not able to view the whole webinar or who weren't able to make it today. Okay, so moving on to Nye County School District. They've done a really good job overall with the National School Lunch Program and implementing the breakfast after the bell, as well as doing great things with their school wellness policy. So I wanted to talk about them a little bit. So they have one district wellness coordinator, and what she has done is hired several wellness coordinators to oversee several different schools in the county. So Nye County is the biggest county in Nevada, land-wise. It's takes, it can take several hours to get from one site to another. So there's lots of ground to cover there. And the funding for these wellness coordinators comes from the general fund from the school. So that means it's backed by the school district and the superintendent, which is really important. And the pay isn't big. It's not a full-time job, but it's about, like an example, is about $500 a quarter, and that depends on the number of schools and number of students that's in that wellness coordinator's area. So one wellness coordinator might have several schools if they're small, or they might just have one or two schools if they are schools that have a larger student population. And basically she just designates tasks to those wellness coordinators, and then they carry that out at the school level for her and report back to her. Another thing they're doing in Nye County School District is flyers for the Fresh Fruit and Vegetable Program, which I'll talk more about in a moment when I show an example. And then they also have the wellness coordinators go through a school wellness policy site checklist, which is a checklist that the Department of Agriculture developed and distributed last year, I believe. I have it on here, and I will send out a copy of it after the webinar as well, so you guys all have it. But I'll talk more about that and what that's made of in a moment as well. So right now, I want to share, this is a video that the Department of Agriculture put together for Nye County. They went down and visited the food service director there and talked about the best practices they're doing for school breakfast, school lunch, and the wellness policy. So it's just 3 minutes, and I'd like to show this right now. How do I play it? Hold on, I have to play it really quick. Let's see. Sorry, this isn't playing how it's supposed to. Okay. No. I'm sorry, you guys. That's the first time I've tried to play video on here. So, but there's the link to that video if you guys want to watch it. Basically, at the end of it, what I really wanted you guys to see was her talking about the school wellness policy and just how important it is that she has the backing of the school district and the superintendent. She has their buy-in, which means that she can, has a little bit of funding to hire some of those wellness coordinators that will do, the tasks that she's not able to get out and do because of her busy job. So if you guys get a chance, this is on our Facebook page, and there's the link for it as well, which you'll be able to access when I send this webinar out. Okay, so here's the fresh fruit and vegetable flyer that they've started doing in Nye, and they do 2 per week. So I think for the program, they send out a vegetable and fruit for the kids to try. And so what she's done is had one of the wellness coordinators start creating these flyers every week for these fruits. And information it contains is where the fruit comes from, how it's grown, some fun facts about it. And then what I like about this is they put on there different ways it can be prepared. And they send this out to the schools, to the principals and the teachers, and hopefully the teachers are sharing this information with the students when they're trying this fruit or vegetable as a little mini nutrition lesson, or even better, printing out these flyers and sending it home with the kids to share with their parents as well. I know in Washoe County for the Fresh Fruit and Vegetable Program, they partner with the Cooperative Extension Program from the university, and a person there in the nutrition department makes flyers every week for whatever food is being tested and sends that out to the participating schools. So it's kind of the same idea, but they partner with Cooperative Extension. And then this is the school wellness policy site checklist that I was talking about. So they're using this in Nye at each site. And we developed this, and it's really just questions asking about if things on the school wellness policy are being followed at the school. These are similar questions to what is asked on the online reporting tool. So if you start using this at your school site a couple times a year, maybe even just once a year, it will really help to answer the questions for the online tool. And like I said, I will send this out to everybody after the webinar, so you guys all have a copy if you don't already. Okay, so these are just some of the SMART goals that Nye entered. I really liked them, and I thought they did a really good job with these goals, coming up with them at least. They're specific and they're measurable. They have time frames in them, which are all things we talked about in the SMART goal webinar. So I'm just going to read these really quick. The first one about nutrition education and promotion. By September 29th, 2016, purchase and distribute a minimum of 3 posters for each school kitchen to hang. Posters will be purchased by the food and the food services department. Okay, so that's giving you specific numbers and when it's going to happen by and how. Also, they have each wellness coordinator will meet a minimum of 2 times each school year with principals to discuss educating parents, staff, and students. Topics should include whether the wellness policy is posted on each school's website, And then also they have in there starting 2016-17 school year for our schools that participate in the Fresh Fruit and Vegetable Program. A weekly flyer of the items that will be served will be shared with all staff to help teach the students what it is they are trying, hopefully to get teachers to make copies for students to take home and share with their parents. And then the physical activity goal also has a time frame on it, which is nice. By October 2016, each school wellness coordinator will meet with principal and staff to approach them with the idea of having 60-second exercise breaks between subjects during the school day. And then the other wellness goal for the school year 2016-17, have a social media page for all schools to find healthy recipes, ideas for healthy fundraisers, and incorporate healthy snacks for teaching math instead of using candy, and have this in place by September 30th, 2016. Okay, so those are just examples of SMART goals that NIE is doing. Like I said, I like how they have time frames on them and they're measurable, which are important aspects for the reporting part. Okay, so moving on, this is Matter Academy, and they're a charter school out of Las Vegas. And what they've done is they have tower gardens that they have built and are growing. And in these, they have 3 of them, and they're growing kale, basil, red lettuce, cilantro, and romaine lettuce. And they have the middle schoolers being responsible for bringing them in and outside, checking pH of water, watering them, and trimming the roots. And their mentor for this project is a retired teacher. And for the middle schoolers, their science teacher is incorporating plant anatomy, pH, and the importance of vegetables in their diets as a part of his science lessons, which I think is a really great way to incorporate nutrition into the science curriculum. And then what they did to kick off this garden is they had an assembly where they talked about plant-based diets and the harmful effects of sugar. And this project, it's funded by a donation, which honestly most schools are probably not going to be able to fund something like this on their own without some kind of donation or other funding. And then their wellness coordinator is Cindy Baca, if you're interested in talking to her about how they're doing this or how they got started doing this. And these are just closer pictures of the tower gardens. And then last is China Springs Youth Camp, which is an RCCI in Nevada. And what they wanted to share that's working well for them is they started using a video monitor in the dining room, like a television screen that shows the menus and animated fun facts, nutritional info, and additional food and agriculture info that's related to the menu. And what they've seen is that having this video monitor up sparks more interest for the kids as to what they are eating that day. So this is something that, I mean, if you guys have funds to do this or it's something that you want to plan for the future, they really think this is helping the interest for the kids at this area. Okay, so last but not least, we're going to do a little update on the online reporting tool since the last webinar was focused solely on that. I just want to remind everybody that the deadline for goals and for entering goals in the school information is June 1st. So it's the end of April. That really leaves just the month of May to start entering and getting all the information entered. And so far we have 8 districts and RCCIs that have entered and submitted goals. So that, that's leaves, there's more out there that haven't submitted those. As far as schools submitting information, there's been 13 that have filled out all the information and hit submit. And then there's 12 schools that have started entering information. Okay, so that's 25 schools so far out of the whole state, which isn't that many. So if you guys, can send out reminders to enter information, that'd be great, or start entering some soon. We have had a challenge right now with getting people logged in and their passwords set up. That's been a big challenge, especially in Clark. We're not sure why the login issue is happening, but we're still trying to fix it. But what I've been saying so far is if you're having issues with it, or if you have staff or employees that can't log in, just have them send me a quick email and I will reset them as a user in the online tool. It takes me literally like 30 seconds to do. I just reset it. They get a new email from FND to go in and set up their password, and that seems to be fixing the problem, is me resetting it. So if you do have problems with that, just let me know and we'll fix it, because we don't want that to be the issue why nobody goes in and enters information. And then just really quick, we've made a few updates and changes to the tool since last time we had a webinar. The first one is being able to submit wellness comments. So the public can go in, it can be teachers, parents, students, anybody can go in and submit comments. The link to this is on the homepage of the wellness tool. People don't have to be logged in to access this part. And all they do is click on the blue button and it brings them to this page, which they can choose which school year they want to comment on, and then they pick the school district, and once they select the district, the list of schools in that district will come up and they can select the specific school they would like to comment on. So this is working now, and what happens when somebody submits a comment is that it'll show up on your dashboard. Okay, so under the school section, there's now a wellness comments section, and there's not reviewed. So if some new comments have come in and you haven't looked at them yet, they'll appear there. And then there's an all section as well, where comments that have been read or not read will show up. Okay, so that's where you'll be able to access comments. And if you want, you can opt to receive email notifications when comments have been submitted. So you can access this on the managing users page. Okay, there's a notification section, and if you want to receive emails or you want your school users to receive email notifications, you can just click that box. And then at last, we just had an issue with the wrong year being on the implementation report for the schools. It did say 2014-15. We changed it, so now it says 2015-16 everywhere. So that shouldn't be an issue anymore. Okay, so that's all I have to share with you guys today about what's going on in the different districts and schools. If you guys have any questions about anything we talked about today, or want to share anything you're doing, have questions about the online tool, you can enter those in the question box now. So we'll wait a few minutes to see what questions pop up. Okay, I don't see any questions so far. So if you have one, send it. But there's a couple questions about if this was being recorded and to get a copy, but I answered that earlier. Okay, so thank you guys for attending the webinar today. I know it was kind of short, but I just wanted to share that information with everybody. Let me know if you have questions about anything we talked about today. You can always email and call me.